Gunshots resonate in the background as clouds of smoke slowly encompass the air. Men huddle in trenches, deafened by cannon blasts and blinded by dirt and dust. These are some of the images of World War I, a war that killed over 40 million people over its 4 years. It was a time that was pivotal in history, both for the United States and the world. The U.S. had a large role in the war and was crucial in helping the Allied powers find success. However, the success came with much effort and difficulty. There were many factors contributing to this success which were often overlooked, such as the use of a uniform. The uniform was important for unifying the troops and promoting a sense of national pride. Without it, the ultimate success of the United States and Allied forces would have been more difficult. In the historical context, the World War I uniform was an important artistic symbol because it was crafted in a very specific way and represented the unity and goals of the country for that time. The standard United States Air Force uniform consisted of many layers including an overcoat, cap, safety vest, trousers, boots, leather flying helmet, goggles, and a scarf. This is a picture of my great-grandfather in his full uniform. At the start of the war, the uniforms were very antiquated, but as the 20th century progressed, technology allowed for uniforms that were more efficient. Factories made the production of uniforms much quicker and more standardized. The factory that made my great-grandfather's uniform was called Day-Sux, and it was in New York. The uniform created in factories like these were more durable and practical for the battlefield. They used double stitching to increase the longevity and made removable buttons to make laundering easier. The buttons on my grandfather's coat represented the United States. These features of the uniforms were fashion standards of the time and were created with specific purposes in mind. Having a large amount of uniforms available in a short time also allowed for the Army to become more unified and efficient. All of the uniforms were fundamentally similar, but had a few differences depending on the individual's rank and division. The color of the uniform was usually a tan or green for blending into the background. Different areas of the uniform were covered with patches, stripes, and medals. Different colors and shapes were associated with different divisions. My grandfather was in the Air Force Division, which was associated with green and black. The number of stripes on the shoulder indicates rank, and the 3 stripes on my grandfather's uniform told me he was a sergeant. The wings underneath the stripes indicates that he was an aviation machinist in the Air Corps, most likely an electrician for the planes. The patch on the other shoulder shows that he was part of the United States. These patches were important for organization and the different divisions and identification. They allowed the Army members to distinguish themselves between allies and the enemies. Emblems displayed on the uniform include stripes and medals. The medal that my grandfather received was the French Croix de Guerre. It was a medal awarded in 1915 by the French government to recognize acts of bravery by French or Allied soldiers. It shows swords crossed around the centerpiece of the French Republic head. Further acts of bravery were awarded by a green striped ribbon to be worn with the medal, which my grandfather also received. The ribbons were often worn instead of the medal, because they took up less room and didn't make noise when hitting each other. These medals were worn as a source of pride and honor. They were an artistic symbol of the bravery and dedication soldiers displayed when fighting for their country in this time. The importance of an article as small as the uniform is often overlooked in the grand scheme of the war, but the uniform played a crucial role in the success of the Allied nations. The state-of-the-art design and manufacturing resulted in a quicker production of the uniforms, which resulted in a more cohesive army. By using the uniform, there was a greater unity and sense of being part of something bigger and more historical. The small distinguishing items were further important identification, providing ranking and inspiring national pride and honor. Without the uniform, the army would be disorganized and divided. Individuals would be more willing to digress and deviate from orders if they didn't feel unified. The system of rank and order would be more difficult without uniforms, and it would be harder to tell friend from enemy. Overall, without the uniform, the logistics of an army would be complicated, which would hurt the chances of success. The uniform may be seen as an article of clothing, but is a symbol of the conflict and triumphs of another time. It is covered by artistic emblems representing battles and bravery, and tells a story important to the history of both the United States and the world itself.